we have been in business since 1999. We are an EDI provider, and we help our clients transmit their documents, purchase orders, invoices, shipping notices. We help them to transmit those electronically. Our headquarters is based in Rhode Island, and we also have offices in Australia and in Ireland. So we are a global company. You know, even though we're here based in the East Coast, we do have that global footprint because of our offices, you know, in other parts of the world. So we're really proud of, you know, the fact that we are a global company. We are privately held, but you know, we're pretty proud of the fact that, you know, we're able to offer the support across multiple time zones and across multiple countries. So a little bit more with B2BGateway. As Alex had mentioned, we are certified application and a customer validated application. One of the things that we do is, you know, we transmit our documents electronically, but we process over 30 billion invoices on a monthly basis. So these are our customers invoicing their customers. So we process about 30 billion of those on a monthly basis. So it's a pretty high number, something to be proud of. We have over 25,000 client trading partner relationships. So basically, when our clients come to B2BGateway, they have trading partners that they want to exchange business documents with. And so what we do is we do the mapping, we create the maps, and so that they can transmit those documents electronically. And we have over 25,000 maps that we have created. One of the things I do want to mention is that our Acumatica solution, it is built and maintained by our B2BGateway developers. So everything is done in-house here at B2BGateway. So I guess kind of where does EDI fit into the marketplace? So we sit in between our client systems and their trading partners. So you have your client that is using Acumatica as their ERP system, and then they're doing, you know, they're trading business documents with, you know, say Walmart, Wayfair, Home Depot. Then they also may be working with some online realtors. So maybe it's Walmart.com, or they have a website and they use like a Shopify platform or a Magento platform. We would connect with that. And then if they're using a warehouse, so if they have a 3PL that is doing their pick, pack, and shipping, we can also integrate with the 3PL. So when the orders are coming in, we import it automatically into Acumatica, and then we would also send it off to their warehouse, so the warehouse knows that it has an order that needs to be shipped. So we sit in between, and we transmit all of the data between all of the different parties. So with EDI, you know, it sounds kind of simple, purchase orders in, invoices out, but it is a bit more complex. So different trading partners use different communication methods, and they also use different file formats. So by using an EDI provider like B2BGateway, as I mentioned, you know, we sit in between. So we will take the documents and in these different file formats, could be the X12, XML. Because we are global, we also support like the EDIFACT or the Tradicom, which is more the international file formats. So, you know, we take these file formats and we reconfigure them and then import them into the client system in the format that is acceptable. Same thing with the communication methods. There's a lot of different communication methods out there that the trading partners use, and AVAN and AS2, API is a big one. So we take whatever communication method that they are using, and we connect with that. So, you know, there's a lot of components that are involved with, you know, transmitting the documents electronically, but having an EDI provider handling it for you, you know, we are not only automating the process for you, but, you know, we're taking away all the heavy lifting and, you know, creating those connections and those file paths. So this is just a list of some of the trading partners that we are currently set up with. We have close to 4,000 trading partners in our system right now. So if you have a customer that, you know, is using one of the ones that you see on the screen, or, you know, any of the other thousands that we already work with, then, you know, no problem, we'll set them right up. If they're not on the list, again, it's not a problem either. All I need to know is what is their communication method and what is their file format. And then what we do is we just build the connection. You know, if they are EDI compliant and they're using one of the standard formats, then we won't have any problem adding them to our trading partner list. And we do have clients adding new trading partners all the time. So this is just kind of a snapshot of some of the trading partners, you know, some of the most popular ones that you would recognize. As I had mentioned, the 3PLs, we can connect with the 3PLs. So here's a list of, you know, some of the bigger ones that are out there, but we can connect directly with your clients' warehouses, and we actually have a couple of these 3PLs who have now become clients of ours. So not only are they handling the pick, pack, and shipping for their clients, but they're also using us to transmit documents with their own clients as well. So it's kind of like a reverse relationship. So we are really proud of the 3PL relationships that we have going on, and they're very, very strong. And you know, more and more clients are, as they're getting bigger and bigger, they're having to use warehouses to handle, you know, their orders. And so B2BGateway has no problem connecting to their warehouses as well. As I had mentioned, the e-commerce platforms. So some clients may want us to connect with their website, and that website may be used on like a Shopify or 3D Cart platform. So we can do that. We can connect directly with their warehouse. Directly with their website, and then we can import that information into their Acumatica system or into their warehouse, wherever they need us to send it. Again, staying on the kind of the online e-commerce platform, a lot of the big box retail stores, their online presence uses Commerce Hub. So Walmart.com, for instance, they use Commerce Hub. So we have hundreds of clients that are currently trading documents with some of these business partners. And so just Commerce Hub is a big name that you'll hear a lot. And yeah, we have hundreds of connections with Commerce Hub. As I had mentioned earlier, we do everything in-house. We don't do any outsourcing. So one of the great things is our mapping capabilities. So we do have the ability to be very flexible when it comes to the maps that we're creating for our clients. Basically, us sitting in between, we're building that connection going with the trading partners. So that Walmart or that Wayfair, we have to build the maps to send you know, invoices, shipping notices to them, and then the purchase orders that are coming into our system. So we have a programming team that's in-house. It's here in our Rhode Island office, and they create all of the maps going back and forth for all of your trading partners, the maps that we are creating so that we can import documents and export documents into your Acumatica system. So all of that is done in-house, and again, we don't outsource anything. So anytime, you know, your client is, you know, would they become a B2BGateway client of ours, we basically do everything here in this facility. We have our own development team, we have our own implementation team, but everything is done here in the Rhode Island location. Everyone has access to their client portal, and you know what, I'm sorry, I think I just skipped, sorry, I jumped ahead. So the client portal, all of our clients have access to this portal, and in the beginning, during the setup phase, this is when it's kind of really important. We keep all of our information in here, all the testing that we're doing, all of the notes, that's all in the client portal. But even after you are live and you're in production, this is a great place where we have your reports. So you can look at all your transactions, you can sort by your documents, you can sort by trading partners. You can make any updates to, you know, internal company information if somebody has left the company and you have somebody else that, is coming in and taking over and you need to update email addresses. Your cross-reference tables are in here. This portal is not something that you have to maintain or you have to log into on a daily basis for your business documents to flow. It's just something like an added bonus. We will obviously automate the process with the documents in and out of Acumatica and with your trading partners, but this is just like an added bonus for you to see kind of your company profile in a snapshot through the B2B portal. And, the analytics, you can look at reports. You can, as I said, you can sort by documents. You can sort by trading partners. You can export that information, adding new trading partners. Whenever you are onboarding another trading partner, you just go right into the client portal and you just type in their name, answer some business questions, and then it sends an alert off to your project manager that you have a new trading partner that you're adding. But again, the client portal is an added feature. It's not something that needs to be maintained from you on a daily basis. This is what one of the reports look like. So the exception report is pretty important. The transaction, obviously, because you want to see the transactions that are going on a monthly basis. But the exception report, so if you are sending a document out, say, for instance, it's an invoice. In this example, it's showing an invoice, or an ASN for that matter, and there's something that is missing on that document, the trading partner will respond back to us and let us know that there's been an exception, that something needs to be updated and corrected on that document. So what we do is we send you an email immediately letting you know that there was an exception, but this information is also in your report, in your exception report, in your client portal. So you have the ability to log in and then look at the exception report, see what the issue was. But again, we email and let you know about it right away, so you don't need to be in the client portal on a daily basis. Again, it's just kind of an added spot to house all of the information. The functional acknowledgement. So back to the exception report, one of the documents that the trading partners can send is an FA, or a functional acknowledgement. And if you look at this snapshot on the right-hand side, you can see where it's accepted or where it's closed exception. So what happens is they would send a 997 and they would say that it was accepted, or they could say that it was rejected. So we do support the functional acknowledgements and we do not charge for it. So if the trading partner will send them, then we will set that up for you at no charge. And that's just something great because it kind of holds them accountable. Once they receive that document, they automatically respond right back to us saying that it was accepted with exceptions, or it was rejected, or they'll give us a status of it immediately. So clients love to have this set up if the trading partner does support it. So when you become a B2B Gateway client, you are assigned a 3-person team. So you have a project manager and you have direct contact with them. You have their email, you have their phone number, and they're the ones that are going to work on the complete setup. You also have a trading partner liaison, and that is the person that will work directly with your trading partners. So with your Wayfair, Overstock, they would work directly with them, reaching out to them to get testing documents. And so they would handle all the testing back and forth with your trading partners. Whereas your project manager, they're going to oversee everything, but they're going to be working on the Acumatica side of things. Then you also have a programmer or a support engineer. And as I had mentioned a couple times, this is the person that's going to be creating all of the maps that are going between your system and your trading partners. All of that is while you are in setup. And as I mentioned, we have a development team. Everything is done in-house. But even after you're done with your setup and you are live and you've been in production for a while, you still have a team that works for you. So you still have that production support team. And we do, because we are a global company, we do have coverage around the clock. So even if the Rhode Island office is closed and you can't get in touch with anybody at another, there's a an after-hours line that you call, somebody is always on call, and you know, it could be weekends, it could be a holiday, but somebody is always on call here. So rest assured that, you know, if there's an issue or you needed to be in touch with somebody and it was after hours, weekends, holidays, there's always somebody available to support your call. And there, in addition to it being a project manager that's on call, there's always a programmer or a support engineer on call as well. So if anything needed to be done as far as mapping is concerned, we would have somebody available to handle that for you. So that is kind of the B2B Gateway presentation in a nutshell. The way our pricing structure works is there is a one-time setup fee, which is due when the contract is signed, and then we have some recurring fees. So it is $750 to add a trading partner. However, I do want to mention that none of the other fees are payable, and they will not show up on your client's invoices until the testing has been completed and they are live. A typical setup time is approximately 6 to 8 weeks. That time can fluctuate depending on a few factors. Once the client has signed on with us, we schedule a kickoff call, and then we introduce the client to their team. And then they add the trading partners into their system. So once we reach out to the trading partners that they've added and we request a test document, as soon as we receive that test document, that's when our timeline starts. So as long as the trading partners are pretty good about, you know, getting back to us and responding in a quick manner, then we can usually stick to that, you know, around 6-week setup time. But sometimes, you know, we do have some trading partners that tend to drag their feet a little bit. So, you know, your project manager is always going to be staying on top of it, and the trading partner liaison team, they're going to be staying on top of the trading partners just to make sure we don't lose any time for the setup. But typically about 6 to 8 weeks until we have the first documents live. The $189 a month, that service fee stays the same no matter how many trading partners you onboard. That $189, that covers all of the maintenance, mapping updates. We have trading partners that do mapping updates all the time. If there's any, you know, Acumatica updates that are going on, all of that is done by our developing team behind the scenes. So you won't have to worry about any of that. We'll handle all of that for you. It covers the support. We do not, we don't charge for support. I know some companies, you know, maybe after a certain amount of hours or a certain amount of tickets, there's a fee. We do not charge for it. That is all included in our $189 a month service fee. And then the 6 cents per SKU line, that's kind of standard across the EDI industry. So basically, if you have a purchase order and you have 2 line items on it, it would be 6 cents for each line item. So basically, the 12 cents to transmit that purchase order. And that's the same if it gets transmitted across an invoice or an ASN or any of the other electronic documents. The only other fees that could incur is communication methods. So trading partners use different types of communication methods. Some may use an AS2 connection, some may use a VAN or an API. So depending on what the trading partners are using as their communication method would depend if there is a fee associated with it. What we do is we always look at the trading partner's communication methods, and we choose the one that is either free or the most cost-effective. So we would, for your clients, we would you know, put together a formal quote. We get the list of their trading partners. We get the list of, you know, how many POs on a monthly basis, how many line items are on an average PO, and we would collect all of this information, and then we would put together a quote. And then in that quote, we could, you know, we would list if there was any communication fees. But again, if there's multiple choices, we're always going to go with the one that's either free or the most cost-effective. And that pretty much covers how our pricing structure works. If, you know, if there's any other special requirements, if some of the trading partners request or require inventory feeds, you know, we absolutely support the inventory feeds, the 846. With those, depending on the number of SKUs that are getting transmitted, you know, we have some customers that are trying to, you know, they're transmitting, you know, thousands of SKUs every day or every hour because they need to have their website updated. So with that, we, instead of looking at it as like a SKU line pricing, we would look at that as more of a flat rate, you know, obviously depending on the number of SKUs that need to get transmitted. But otherwise, I mean, our pricing is transparent. Our pricing is on our website. Anybody can go on and look at our pricing. We don't have any hidden fees or costs. Everything is right here on the screen. And again, you know, we can put together a nice formal quote if we just can get a little bit more information from the client. And that is everything that I have to present. I don't know if there was any questions, Alex, as we were going along, but.
No, I haven't had any questions yet. Very good presentation. We'll keep it open here for just a second here if anybody does have any questions that they'd like answered. Unless you have any FAQs, Melissa, that you think might be asked inevitably.
Well, I mean, the biggest ones I think really is like how long is it going to take, and like what are the reasons that, you know, it is going to be taking longer, or could we speed up the process? So, I mean, 6 to 8 weeks is our typical setup time, but we have had instances where, you know, we've had to get something done in 2 weeks and been able to do that. It's just as long as everybody kind of stays on top of the setup. So when within the client portal, as I mentioned in the beginning when we were when I was talking about how we use it for setup, what happens is the project manager, the programmer, everybody puts notes in the client portal, and the client gets an email every time there's a note in there, and then they can just respond to the email with their response. So as long as the client is, you know, good about responding back to us, you know, because obviously if we're importing a purchase order into their system, they need to be reviewing the purchase order and making sure that it was imported correctly. And if there's some information that's missing, they need to let us know about that. So as long as everything is done within the client portal, you know, we can usually stick to that timeline. And if they need, you know, if there's priorities, that's the other thing. You know, trading partners, if they have 10 trading partners they want to onboard, we can either set them all up at once. We can, you know, set up a handful as a priority, or if they want to just do one at a time until it goes live, then add the next. The client tells us how they want everything to get set up, so we're pretty flexible about that as well.
Very good. Okay. All right. Well, we haven't received any other questions in the chat, so I think with that, we can go ahead and wrap up the presentation. Thank you so much for joining us today, Melissa. A very informative presentation.